When my father came home from work late at night, I could tell he was drunk straight away again. I watched as he was knocked off balance and tripped to our front porch. I have had enough of this. Enough of him forgetting the bills, enough of him forgetting my life, enough of forgetting about her. He wasn't always like this, my father. But it all changed when my mother died. He couldn't hold his life together, and he started letting life past him. I needed to get away from my father. He was ruining my life. But I didn't know how to leave. I thought of how to do it all the time, but it was useless. Days passed and I still did not know what to do. A week later, though, a miracle happened. Suddenly, while I was looking through the glass window, I saw something caught in an oak tree. It was quite small, and it was flapping in the wind. I was curious, so I went to investigate. It was a kitten. A white kitten with pale blue eyes. I slowly took it out of the branches and set it on the ground. But then I picked it up again. It was beautiful, and I couldn't let go of it. Then the kitten started to purr. When I looked at it with concerned eyes, she pulled away to the direction of an old-fashioned house. I thought it might have been her home, so I walked quietly to the house. When I pressed the doorbell, a plain-looking woman came out and greeted me. But when she saw the kitten in my arms, her eyes widened. "Oh, thank you so much." "Thank you." She became tearful and scooped the kitten from my arms. It was in a tree, so she might be scraped, but from what I saw, she wasn't. I was quite glad the kitten was back in her home. "How can I ever repay you?" she asked me. "And then, how about I give you some money?" I was astounded when she gave me a crisp $100 bill. "Use it well." She smiled and then closed the door shut. I packed my suitcase with my necessary things: a sleeping bag, some clothes, a blanket, a pillow, a sewing kit, and some food. In my duffel bag, a bottle of water, a phone, a wallet, a pencil case, and some books. Finally, I looped the emerald pendant around my neck. The one Linda gave me, my mother. I stomped down the stairs and approached my father. He had a bag of chips in one hand and was holding the TV remote in another. And to top it all off, he was lying on the couch as he snored deeply. "Father! Father!" I shouted. "Ha! Linda? Linda is gone. Wake up. Oh, Merida? Aren't you supposed to be at school?" he asked me. Confused. At that moment, I was the most outraged person in the world. And I wasn't thinking properly much, so it makes sense that I stormed past my clueless father, left my tattered house, and tried to forget about this broken neighborhood. I was finally on the boat. It was crammed with people, but at least it was comfortable. Or maybe not. But the important thing was, I was going to start a new life. Everything after that happened so dramatically. I was looking at the sea waters when suddenly, the boat shook and half the passengers tilted forward. I heard some splashing in the water. A bunch of suitcases were in the water. The water. Was mine in the water? I squinted to see. I was about to spot the last few suitcases when I saw a suitcase skimmed with lace with a name engraved on it. My name. I widened my eyes as I silently cursed to myself. Why was this such a mess? I sighed and rested my head on a slope. And then I heard a deep voice from behind me. A chill ran down my spine. "Well, hello, girlie. What are you doing alone?" He dragged the last word violently. I turned around and saw he was a middle-aged man with a scruffy beard and a leather jacket. Leather jackets creep me out. First, I am not a girlie. I am 15 years old, soon to be 16. And then I kicked him in the shins. Second, you should learn some manners on how to treat ladies. I smiled at that. I was becoming an adult, and I was transforming. And I was finally getting the hang of it. I was thinking that before I heard him growl with pain. Well, he deserved it. I rushed off for some cover. I didn't want to meet that person again. So you could tell I was definitely relieved when the announcement came on. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our destination. Russia." So it turned out I landed in Russia. Russia. As I started out the boat thinking this, the security blocked me. Lady. Is your profile submitted? He asked me. I was confused now. What profile? No, sir. However, my grandparents have ordered me to come here. They live here, you see. I explained. My mother was from Russia. My father from the United States. Everyone said America was the land of dreams and hope, but I never liked the place. My grandparents had always lived here in Russia. He nodded as I told him this, but he refused to let me pass. I can share my information. I offered this to him. And he seemed to approve. Name Merida Ivanov. Age 15, soon to be 16. Purpose: I came here to live my life and escape my horrid family. I hope the last line had been appropriate. But I had no time to worry because the guard rushed me and I had to pass. I smiled and shrugged my shoulders happily. I was marching through the streets in a park with falling leaves when someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around praying that it would not be a stranger again. But when I turned around, there was a lady with wrinkles smiling. I thought she looked familiar when I realized it was my grandmother. My precious grandmother had turned elderly after years of wanting to see her. But I couldn't because my stupid father wouldn't let me see her, saying the money was not necessary. But I knew that he spent the money all for his own. He was rich, my father. But he was selfish and he kept the money to himself. Merida, my dear. How have you been? And why are you here? She looked happy to see me. A bit confused too. I couldn't blame her. It took me a minute to find my voice. I have missed you so much. I finally left my father's place. And I am here right now, so don't worry. I gave her a comfortable smile and became tearful. But before I could cry, she rushed and led me towards a row of houses. What do you know? Sometimes life leaves you and sometimes you leave life. You move on and get over some things. But what you need to know is that every time you live, you wish for a happy ending. Wait a minute, what? Did I leave my life? Did I leave my father? No. He left me. The end.